I started my career after graduating from university in the UK. I started my career, my first job was with PwC in their London offices. I spent 4 years in their TICE division, which was the division that serviced technology and telecom customers. And I qualified as a chartered accountant. Shortly after that, I realized that accountancy was not going to be my career. I was always more inclined towards technology. Ever since my school days, I think I knew that that was always going to be my calling. So I decided at that point to come back to Pakistan and join Abacus. Abacus at that time was part of PwC. It was PwC in Pakistan. We were the consulting arm of PwC. And I joined Abacus to basically build our technology business portfolio. At the time, we had a focus on technology. That was my role, to come and build a technology-based practice, and that's what I've been doing since. And so now I look after what is the ITS division of Abacus, which looks after a number of lines of businesses, including ERP, integration, digital, software development, automation, and also outsourcing. We have a very big outsourcing business, and we have 2 big outsourcing centers, one in Lahore and one in Islamabad, collectively about 1,200 seats. So that's also part of the ITS portfolio in Abacus. So that's what we're doing. I'm also running our international business portfolio. So very much, we are trying our very level best to increase the exports, the export-driven opportunities for Abacus. And I'm a big believer that Pakistan is really, a very, exciting and amazing destination for outsourcing IT services. So yeah, that's very much also part of my portfolio, and that's really what's taking most of my time these days. I think it's very difficult to draw a comparison because, as with most things in Pakistan, we don't have a lot of data. We don't have a clear sort of data point which we can use or categorize, let's say, technology adoption across several dimensions and say, Pakistan ranks in this way against the world. There's some work that's been done in this, but I feel it's not based on very sound fundamentals. In some reports, I think Pakistan has been categorized quite low in terms of technology adoption, but I don't think that reflects what's actually happening on the ground over here, because I feel that we just haven't done enough to produce enough data about Pakistan. And I'm actually working with the All Pakistan Software House Association, and we are planning to fix that problem. We're planning to bring a research report which hopefully will fix that problem, because until someone comes here and actually sees on the ground what's happening, they will not realize how exciting the opportunity in Pakistan is. But I will say, because we are one of the market leaders in terms of supplying enterprise technology, we do have a good first-hand view of what's happening. So I think that there's a huge amount of work still to be done in the enterprise sector. What we see is that, and that's a great opportunity for anyone who's looking to provide IT services, because I think a great majority of companies in Pakistan are yet to really adopt and adapt, as you say, enterprise systems. So there's a lot of work still to be done. But I think it's a very exciting time to be here, because not only is there a huge amount of work to be done, I think businesses now in general have realized that it is absolutely impossible to do business without adapting technology. It's becoming now a question of survival. So I call this the adoption curve. So the adoption curve itself is now kicking in, because it's not just a matter of budgets and economic growth. It's now a question of if you want to be in business, you have to embrace and adopt technology. It's just not possible to be in business without adopting technology. So that adoption curve, is, I think, what's driving the opportunity in Pakistan today. Because otherwise, I think 2019 has been a fairly challenged year economically in the bigger picture context. But I think for the tech industry, it's been a good year still. I see a lot of growth in Abacus. I see a lot of growth in some of the other companies who are working in similar lines to Abacus in Pakistan. So and that's coming despite the economic challenges, despite what we saw in the exchange rates in 2019. Despite all of that, despite technology becoming more expensive, we've still seen growth in the industry as a whole. So that tells you that the adoption curve is kicking in. It's fairly independent of the economic condition. And that adoption curve is not going to slow down. It's going to accelerate, because as people go into the future, into the digital age, 2020 and beyond, it's going to become even more difficult to do business without technology. So what I see is that the adoption curve is going to accelerate, and it's going to create a lot more opportunity, regardless of what the economic conditions are going to be. So I'm very optimistic on this account. I think for us, the focus areas are very clear. On the one hand, we are very keen on enterprise systems. We work with SAP in a big way, and like I said, there's still a huge amount of work still to be done in that space. Then we're also very, very keen on digital. So whether it's integration or automation or API management, I think that's a very exciting space, and that's a space which I think is been a little slower than the ERP in Pakistan. But if you look at the region, that is where all the investments are. When you look into the Middle East region, places like Dubai, Saudi, or even internationally, what we see is a lot more maturity when it comes to enterprise systems. Not a lot of growth in that, but we see a lot of excitement in the digital space. So integration, automation, mobile, IoT, artificial intelligence, these dimensions, which we cover under the digital umbrella, what we see is a lot of investment in the international markets, and very nascent in Pakistan at the moment. Because these are the kind of dimensions where you need to see very innovative mindsets at the board level in enterprises, and that I think we're waiting to see. I mean, there are exceptions. There are some companies, there's a few companies in every sector in Pakistan who are going towards innovation, but we are yet to see acceleration in that particular field. So enterprise systems is keeping us very busy. Digital is keeping us very busy in the international markets. We're working with some of the largest banks in the region, in the Middle East and North Africa region. We're working with some of the largest telcos in the region, some of the largest retailers in the region when it comes to the digital dimension. And but in Pakistan, I think we're hoping to see 2020 being a much bigger year on the digital front as compared to the previous couple of years. Again, I think it can only increase. So, but adaptation-wise, on that particular dimension, probably we are hoping for acceleration next year. Apart from that, as I mentioned, we are in the outsourcing business. We have a big BPO business, and that's also done very well. We had a great year last year, and we're hoping to replicate that, grow that business further this year and beyond. One of the key objectives for us is also to, break into new opportunities on the outsourcing front in the international markets. So that's also something that's a big focus these days. We see a lot of our clients now, especially in the banking and the telecom sector in Pakistan. We make it Pakistan specific. We see a lot of them having a chief digital officer. So that's something which is very clear now. There is a digital hat in the CXO suite now, and that's a very good start. It means that there's a focus at the top level in companies, in the large enterprises, towards digital innovation. So that's a good start. Like I said, we're waiting to see big things, from the industry on the digital front, on the innovation front. I think there's some very smart people who are, wearing the chief digital officer hat now, and I think that a lot of businesses, a lot of the companies in Pakistan, I think they need to, or they are in the process of understanding what exactly, how exactly the digital innovation stack or the opportunities under the digital innovation dimension, apply to their particular business. So that's, there's a process of learning, discovery that is, actively taking place right now. If you ask me whether companies in general are taking the big leap of faith that's needed towards innovation, I would say we're not seeing that as yet. We're not seeing that as yet in Pakistan. We see a lot of discovery, a lot of tiptoeing, and this is a necessary phase, but I think what we're waiting to see is some real leadership in terms of taking that leap of faith and really investing in innovation in a big scale, because the scale of business change that can be brought by digital innovation, we can't really do that with an overly cautious approach. So at some stage, somebody has to, go all in with digital innovation, to bring results, at a larger scale. So, so we see a lot of cautious projects, but we don't see clear big winners emerging, because I think the pace of innovation and investment in this sector is still very, very low. So I think people need to speeden up, if they're going to make impact in this space. In the meantime, there are some disruptors that are coming about. So in the fintech sector, there's investment there, and I think the big corporates have to be very cautious that if they don't make those investments, if they don't bring that innovation, somebody else is going to do it. And the fourth industrial revolution is all about convergence of industry. So somebody will innovate for you if you don't do it. So my advice to everyone would be that everyone has got to take a deep and hard look at what the opportunities are in terms of digital innovation, whether it's AI or it's integration or it's mobile or IoT. If you're not going to do it, you can be sure somebody else is going to come in and at least take a shot at it. Yeah. So I think that's my view. Yeah, we're hoping for some much bigger things from the corporate sector in that space in 2020. A lot of the big technology players, whether it's SAP or Oracle or Microsoft or AWS, a lot of them are seeing Pakistan as a growing opportunity. Yeah? So, and of course, as a company which works with a very large number of enterprise customers here, we end up having a lot of conversations with a lot of the tech companies. And for us, we try to be selective. We try to, bring what we think is the best in its category, and offer that to our customers. I think that is going to continue. So we do work in a very big way with a number of tech companies, such as SAP, such as Google, such as AWS. And I think that's only going to grow. The opportunity in Pakistan is growing. So I think these tech companies their interest in Pakistan is also growing. And, I can expect them to invest more of their time and resources in developing opportunities in Pakistan in the coming years. Well, again, it's just hard to call it because I think we don't have a lot of data on the IT market in Pakistan. So it'd be difficult to be very precise, but in the enterprise system space, we've done over 600 deployments in Pakistan. Yeah, and I think that's more than anyone else by far. So but I think I wouldn't like to put a number to it. I think that given that a lot of data is not available, I'd be hesitant to put any specific numbers on it. But we consider ourselves market leaders when it comes to enterprise systems, when it comes to digital, when it comes to outsourcing. In all these dimensions, we consider ourselves to be market leaders. And there's other companies that are also very active. The people who work with Oracle, the people who work with Microsoft, who are also doing a great job in Pakistan. I won't take any names, but there's a number of players. Competition for us, because we are multidimensional. In each dimension, it's a different set of competitors. So in outsourcing, it'll be someone else. In the enterprise system space, it'll be someone else. In digital, it'll be someone else. So we end up competing with quite a wide array of companies. But I think the good thing is that there's a lot of good work and a lot of good talent in the country, and the market is growing. So I think it keeps everyone excited. I mean, I've been active in the IT industry since the year 2000, when I moved to Pakistan. I don't think there's been any clear milestones, any points of inflection where you could say where you could point to and say, these 3 or 4 things happened, which really accelerated the growth of the industry. I think it's been a gradual transition. I think a lot of progress has been made in the industry over the last couple of decades, and a lot of talent has been developed, and it's been sort of a continuous journey rather than key watershed moments, key breakthroughs. I would say that, if there's one thing I would point to if there had to be one thing I would point to, it would be possibly back in the year 2000, where IT was declared as an industry, and IT exports were declared tax-free, and they still remain to be tax-free. So I think those two, that particular point of policy, I think, was instrumental in shaping what we have where we are today. But beyond that, I think it's been a very continuous journey. Where is it now? I think it's in a great place right now for two reasons. I think we have, the quality of our talent is second to none. And secondly, I think that the cost at which we can, provide services and products in Pakistan, I think it's very difficult for anyone else in the world to compete at that cost. Yeah. So I think particularly, now in the present situation, where with the exchange rate where it is, I think it's a huge opportunity for us. The best advice I received was from our chairman, Asad Saab, and I think, client focus, always be focused on customer success. And I think, ultimately, and that his advice always has been that if ultimately our success will be linked to our customer success. So ultimately your success is driven by the success of others. The fundamentally important aspect of being successful as a leader is having a good team, and investing in your team and trusting your team. I think that really is the key to success. I think no, I certainly not. I was never going to pursue a career in cricket. I mean, cricket is definitely a hobby. I enjoy watching it. I enjoy playing it when I get the time. But yeah, I mean, I always did want to be in the IT profession. Ever since school, I was always intrigued by computer science. Yeah, but if it wasn't this, I probably would have pursued a career as an academic, maybe as a mathematician. So I studied mathematics and computer science in university, and I always enjoyed mathematics. So if I wasn't doing this, I'd probably be somewhere in university pursuing mathematics. I think one very common misperception is that a lot of the engineers that come and work with us, what we see is that a lot of people, they think that developing your business skills, the softer side of your business skills are less important. I think that is a very big issue when it comes to IT professionals or engineers in general, because you can be technically sound, but to be successful as a provider of value or service, you have to be able to understand other people's requirements. You have to be able to work with them, you have to be able to communicate with people. And I think this is something which a lot of people coming into IT don't realize. There's some great technical talent that we see, and this is the message that we give everyone in Abacus, that it is fundamentally important to build your general business skills, not just your technology knowledge and skills. So I think this is a very big misconception that we see, and I think it should be addressed. I think a lot of kids who are coming into the profession, they need to be mentored and guided that they should be not just developing their technical skills, but also their general business skills. I think that what we see is a much greater focus on a much greater footprint of international customers. So Abacus, over the last 5 years, we have definitely we've been very focused on acquiring or internationalizing our customer base. Our growth in Pakistan is continued, and our focus on customers in Pakistan is still 100%. But in addition to that, we've had a great strategic focus on developing our international customer base, and that has gained a lot of momentum. So in a couple of years' time, what I see is us having a much bigger footprint internationally. And of course, I'm very much in the thick of things when it comes to that particular drive.